On Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025, Jenkins LTS 2.516.1 was released. It's finally here. If you haven't been around before, my name is Darin Pope. I am a developer advocate with CloudBees, and today we're going to be talking about all the changes that occurred in that release. To help me out with all this, because there is a 0% chance I could do this all by myself, today I have Mark Waite with me. Mark, how are you doing today?
Just great, Darin. Thanks for asking.
So, we could just jump right into it, but before we do, this is a big release. This is a .1. It's rare that a .1 is small. It has happened, but it's also just about as rare for a .1 to be really big. And this is one of those really big ones.
Right.
For a number of reasons. Mm-hmm. So before we get into that, if people aren't familiar with what the Jenkins LTS process is, why don't you walk us through that?
Sure. So the Jenkins project releases a new version every week. Every week like clockwork, bang, bang, bang. But every 12 weeks, we select a baseline release, and that baseline release is then stabilized for a period and becomes the LTS.1, so 2.516.1. 4 weeks later, we release another of that baseline, 2.516.2. 4 weeks after that, we release another 2.516.3. And then 4 weeks later, we start over again with a new baseline.
And this year, it works out really well because the last .3 will be the last release of the year. Then we get to take holiday.
That's right.
And for the people that are already starting holidays for the summer, enjoy yourself. Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead and get into it because we want to try to keep this reasonably short today. And I want to make sure that we cover everything that's here. If you've not taken a look at the release notes first for Jenkins, you need to go out to jenkins.io, click on download, and then you'll see stable and weekly. We're going to look at the changelog for stable. I'm also going to jump in here just a little bit. Before we get into it, we already have good feedback here. 28 thumbs up, if you will. Nice. I'm in Texas. It's 100 plus today. Thank you very much. So I'm familiar with this icon. And I'm not familiar with this last icon, which I'm thankful it's at 0 as well. Where do we want to start today? Because we have big blocks here to deal with. We have changes since 5.16, and then we call out the notable changes since the last LTS 4 weeks ago, 5043.
Yeah, I'd start with the notable changes because I think those are the big story. Then I think we have to go into the enhancements because there are some important ones there. We may not touch them all, but there's some important ones there related to removals and additions.
Okay. I think this first one sort of speaks for itself. And if you didn't watch the live stream last week over on the Jenkins CI/CD channel on YouTube that I did with Jan Faracek, where we go into the redesign of the header, you would think that just redesigning a header wouldn't be a big deal. How long has this header redesign been going on?
Yeah, we've spent months, literally months. I think it's 6 or 9 by now. So it's been a long time getting here, and an enormous amount of work from a bunch of people to be sure that we keep things compatible and well behaved.
Is a picture worth 1,000 words?
It is.
Okay, so let's do that. Let me make sure that we're still logged in. Yeah, good. We are, and I'm going to go ahead and check here too. Yes. All right, good. So here's last month's release, bottom right-hand corner, 5043. Nice big Jenkins black bar. Lots of wasted space. Did I say that out loud? Is it my inside voice or outside voice? A sub-nav here, but now with 5.16.1, there's no sub-nav. In fact, this left nav actually has gotten a lot shorter.
Right.
What's the purpose of this? Oh, okay. Well, why do we want to do that?
Yeah, so let's make things more focused on the users and the common users, right? Okay. So most users are not Jenkins administrators. They aren't. And so occupying space on the left-hand side with things that are focused on Jenkins administrators is killing space. And occupying space at the top that we could have saved is reducing the effectiveness for users, so that just the fact that welcome to Jenkins moved up gives you already a hint of one of the big benefits here. There's more space available for real useful information.
Now, the big thing about this, and we'll take a look at a couple of examples here in just a second, but the real big deal about this is it's not done yet. The big chunk of it is done.
Sure.
The big rock is done. I'm not going to say all the big rocks are done, but the big rock is in the glass jar right now. The question is what size rocks are coming behind it That's still
Sure.
being worked on. So let's take a look at a couple things. And also, I want to go and call it this display plugin health score as we're going through this.
Right.
So we're used to seeing all of this. If I wanted to change the appearance, I could change out to dark and what, it's not a real big deal. But in the new world on 5.16, now there's actually something to make it even simpler. So I can just, even though you can't really see it, there's actually a pop-up here. Layers aren't showing up here.
Well, but show the switch to dark, because it's
Right.
you do that pop-up, you click dark, and all of a sudden we're in dark mode.
Yeah, so y'all can't see this, but I changed it to dark, and so you
Right.
can sort of see the hover there. But that's, again, layers, and I can go right back. So if you want to do a quick switch, there are numerous themes. In fact, there's a brand new theme that came out last week called Capuchin. I can't even say it because
Right,
it's spelled so
right.
weird to me.
Right.
But anyway, that's going to be the big thing. Is you gain a lot here. I didn't set up any folders or anything, but the breadcrumbs follow just like how the sub would follow here.
Right.
It's nothing new. It's just moved up into what I would classify the main bar.
Correct. Yeah.
There is no secondary bar that's sort of squeezed in here that we had in the past. What else do we want? Oh, we're talking about things on the left and right. Lockable resources and job priorities. I also have that over here, but notice they're not here. They're up here under this hamburger. So if I have permission to see it, I would see it.
Right.
Or actually, is that true even as a user? I can't remember these two plugins specifically.
Yeah, and I don't remember either for those plugins. They're the example, and they're a good example that it's intentional. They've been moved there because they're not generally interesting to most users. Right. Those are administrator things.
So anything that was global on this side is now global up in this upper right-hand corner.
Right.
These are global. So if you had a drill down, and this is still just top level, pure top level.
Right.
Let's go ahead and go into Manage Jenkins. We can see here that, wow, there's no left here. Whereas if we go back to the old, we still have the left nav here. So again, we are gaining real estate.
Right.
If you're on smaller device, phone, iPad, whatever, this is going to be good. Now, not all pages are to this level yet. Is it fair to say, Mark, most are going to be headed in this direction?
I think we're headed this direction, right? That's the side panel will continue while we need it, but eventually I think we're going to head this way more and more.
You mean the side panel is so 90s?
It is kind of 90s, yes.
Okay. And while we're here, we talked about the plugin health score. Let's go and take a look at that. I'll just go to the installed plugins first off. So now we have this column called health. So if you click on it, it's going to take you in a new tab over to whatever that is, and it explains the health score. So how do we explain the health score, Mark? What's the easiest way to do it? I could give a very long answer, but I can't give a short answer.
Yeah, for me, the concept is users should choose plugins with high health scores, not low health scores. Isn't that the simplest way to say it? High health
Probably.
score is generally better for you as a user, and in the 90s is a good number. Plugins with health scores much below that, you got to wonder, why have I got that?
Like this one.
That one, and that one's an interesting one because its score is low because it needs to be adopted, and it tells you right there that it needs someone to adopt it.
Right. So you're saying 90-ish or above is
Exactly.
okay. All
You
right.
want, and in the grading system I dealt with as a kid, 90 and above was an A grade. You want A grade plugins, absolutely.
And you also see this when you're picking out the plugins to install.
Right.
So you can see there's another one that's 68. Again, it's deprecated. Not even
Right. And you don't want deprecated plugins, and you don't want plugins with security vulnerabilities. They get lower scores as well.
right. And this doesn't list out all of them. It's just you have to do the search for everything because
Right.
2,000 plugins. You wouldn't want that list.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go to advanced settings as well because I think there was one change there that I saw that was interesting from plugins. Or maybe I'm dreaming, and that's also a possibility. Nope. Well, it was the configure system page, I think, but that's old. That's been there for a long time. Never mind.
Right. Okay.
Nothing to see here. Anything else we should show about the whole thing about the new UI? is you're just going to have to get in and get used to it. Number one, you're going to have to forget all the muscle memory that you've had for however many years if you're an administrator.
Right, exactly. It's hey, I for a period I kept shifting left to click Manage Jenkins, and I've now learned to shift right.
Yep.
That's part of the game. But really, I don't spend as much time in Manage Jenkins, even though I'm an administrator. So for me, it's been something I've learned, and it's worked.
Okay. Anything else we need to discuss about the new header for now?
That feels like a good cover for me. If we wanted to go back to the changelog, we could look at some of the comments there, and they might, some of the other changes, they might give us some hints, right?
Right. So updates to various UI elements. Again, this is part of that. Not only was the header basically a gut job, then other things had to be touched up as well in order for that to happen.
Right, exactly. And there are a number of them like it that are on this, right? The color palette improvements,
Next, yeah.
API improvements in various things, and those are secrets and password entry, all sorts of things like that have just nice little improvements for it.
Right. This one, a new health endpoint, is available. It's so if you've ever tried to check the endpoint, what would you check?
So I'd usually check login or the root, but any one of the ones that I was choosing, typically it's like, oh, I don't know, there might be times when it's not really ready or when it's not giving me the right answer.
And what else did it do? It created another HTTP session that you didn't need.
Oh, right. Got it. Okay.
So the new health endpoint doesn't need any of that. It is out in the open. It basically says, well, actually, let's take a look at it because why not? Health. And if I remember correctly, you really do need to add in the trailing slash so it doesn't get the redirect. The redirect's there. And for me, I've got a filter here. So if I look at the raw data, that's all we're getting, status true.
Right. And that's the kind of thing you need for services that want to check, hey, is this thing up far enough for me to use it?
Correct. And this status true, this true means it's gotten to usable point,
right?
If I remember correct, of the implementation. So that's important. So if you've been setting up a health check against the login page or anything else, switch over to this /health/ put the trailing slash in. That'll help you out. New jobs no longer create legacy ID mark files. Okay. On your database.
Okay, that one we've got to talk. This
Yeah.
one and the next one are worth talking about just for the fun of them, Darin. We've just got to talk about them for the fun of it.
Then let's talk about it because I'm going to let you lead it. Because
all right. So
what caused this?
Well, okay, cause I'm not sure. Yeah, you may have to tell that story. For me, the crucial story here is that Jenkins is using a nice, reliable way of storing the hashed passwords. But that hashed password library needed to be replaced. And so we've removed the old dead thing, and in the process are using one from Spring Security, but it acknowledged the reality that we had that, hey, you can't do password hashing of a password longer than 72 bytes. And so now this says, hey, we won't accept if you try to enter a greater than 72 byte password. And if you already have one of those, you should change your password to something shorter.
I really dislike that, Mark.
Oh, I know. You depend on typing 75 characters as your password every time you log in.
I depend on my password manager to type in the 75 characters that I have.
Right. There you go. Now you've tipped us off. That's right.
But yeah, I get it. I understand.
Sure.
But we need it back in some way, shape, or form. We need some variation of that. Anyway, some removals here around just something that's no longer needed. In fact, this one's pretty funny. IO exception 2. This is purely a developer thing. Nobody would see it in real life.
Right.
But the reason why IO exception 2 existed is because IO exception in the early days didn't have a cause in it, I think.
Right. It was lacking one of the parameters we needed.
Yeah. So therefore. But eventually, Java caught up. Remove support for path and pattern. Mentioned that.
Right.
Remove PAM authentication from suggested plugins.
Yes. Okay, that's a fun story, Darin. Okay, suggested plugins, people should, but there is no sense for most users to rely on PAM-based authentication. They aren't using the login system of the individual Linux computer as the primary driver of their logins. That was a thing 15 and 20 years ago. It's not now.
Exactly. Not anymore. PowerShell script to Windows installer to update registry information after war update. This is a big deal for people that are running Jenkins on Windows.
Yeah, okay, so tell the story on that one.
The basics of it are if you did upgrade inside the war file, like you went into Jenkins, it's like upgrade the war file, and did that, it would work.
Right.
But in the registry, it would still show the old version.
Exactly, yeah. So the challenge is Windows-based installers have to use elevated privilege to run initially.
Right.
We realize that. That's the way MSI works. But after you've done that initial install, the way the Jenkins setup is on Windows, you can upgrade without invoking elevated privilege. A Jenkins administrator can do it, and that's good enough. However, when they do that, it does not update the Windows registry. So this thing allows a privileged Windows user to update the Windows registry.
Add a copy to clipboard button.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Can we just say, oh, never mind, I'm not going to say what to say. Copy to clipboard. Complete the Japanese translation for keep dependencies help file.
Yeah, minor.
We're running Jetty. Set the same site attribute for cookies to provide additional protection for some CSRF vulnerabilities.
Yeah, so I like this one in that users do nothing and they get the benefit.
Right.
This attribute says let the consumer give us some additional protection against CSRF, against classic vulnerabilities in web pages.
Big deal here, though. You need to upgrade Azure AD or Intra.
Exactly, and that's why this one is also noted in the upgrade guide. Is
right.
You need to now you can upgrade this plugin in your old version before you upgrade to the new Jenkins version. So this is not one of those you have to do it on a knife edge. Upgrade on your old version, then upgrade to current version. You've got it now.
Knife edge for everybody else that don't understand that.
That's just sorry.
At the exact same split second of time.
Right, nanosecond
exactly. Of time.
Right.
Allow the views tab bar to be configured per user. Why wasn't that there before?
Yeah, it's a nice feature to have for users.
Yeah. Okay. Bug fixes. We won't read every one of these. There's a lot.
Yep.
Anything big here that we want to call out?
For users, not so much, right? I'm not feeling like any of them are particularly they're good fixes. And if you were affected by the bug, it's important that you know about it, right? But they're just fixes. We think they're logical, sensible, good fixes for you to have.
Plumbing.
Exactly.
This is plumbing, not so much visual. Other than
right.
like this added value attribute to the button element. Okay, whatever. It allows things to happen.
Right.
Which was probably mixed in with the header refresh, and it was probably found while doing those types of work.
Yeah, actually, this one was independent, but no matter. It's still something that most users won't realize it. Users are actually more likely to realize, the search results are better formatted, better laid out now, more likely to give you the results you want. So there were some folks who said, hey, I still want my old style search results, and they were giving wrong URLs. So those kind of bugs, but again, that's something they would expect to work, and the bug fix makes it so it works.
Right. Let's go up to the since 5.16. So what this means is these are things that were fixed in 5.17, 5.18, 5.19, 5.20, 5, where are we at today? I don't remember.
20.
20. Okay. Those things were backported into 5.16.1.
Right.
So improve UI of secondary actions in the header. Again, just catching up. Something that was fixed before it actually went LTS.
Right. We like that 5.16 had really, really good improvements to the UI, and they'd been implemented even earlier than that, but we needed this one in addition.
Yep. In fact, all of these are related to the header project.
They are. That's correct.
Make the script console layout configurable. Okay. This only applies to people that have administrative privileges.
Right. But it's a very handy power tool.
It can hurt you very badly.
It can. Okay, bring it up on the other one because we've got to see it.
What it isn't.
Exactly. That's right.
Okay. Script console. So just a big, ugly, scrolly box. That was about it.
Right. Yeah. The crucial thing was this has the left-hand navigation on it. The other one does not. But because we were using the same component in multiple locations, there were other places where that script console had to retain the left nav. And so this one is looking the way we want it to in the new world. But for instance, if we had an agent, it also has a separate script console. Right. And in that context, that script console needs the side panel.
Right.
So it's, what was it? It was a bug fix that actually didn't change what we intended here. This looks exactly like we want. But the script console for individual agents still holds the side panel because there was information in that side panel that users had to have.
Yep. Until that gets refactored.
Exactly.
And turned into whatever it is. Okay.
Correct.
We should look at the upgrade guide.
Yes.
You should always look at the upgrade guide before you upgrade. Upgrade guide only applies to LTS. It does not apply to weekly. Why is that, Mark?
Because we hope that you just make incremental steps and we don't write an upgrade guide for weeklies.
There we go. Okay. Let's see what we have here. Header redesign. We've talked about that.
Right.
We take a look at, it goes through all the things here. Utilizing Spring Security for Jenkins' own user database passwords. This is what we were talking about earlier.
Right. This is the JB Crypt story, right? This is you can't have passwords longer than 72 bytes. You can't create new passwords longer than 72 bytes.
Unless you're operating in FIPS 140 mode. We're not going to get into that.
Nope.
But, okay. Remove Run ID Migrator. Again, this was the legacy IDs that we were talking about.
Right. And this one, it's good to not waste effort on startup doing things. And this is one of those, hey, when you're starting, let's not waste the effort to deal with that. And let's not waste space and file system table entries for things that we really don't need anymore.
Right. The View tab by user.
All right.
Great. Value attribute, we talked about that one. Okay, whatever. Removing JB Crypt. Now what this means is JB Crypt was a jar file in the class path of Jenkins.
Right.
Jenkins core. And now that's no longer there, period. Because of the dependency earlier.
Actually, and now that we've been through it, Darin, could you scroll up? Let's look, maybe this one is a mistake and it should actually just be included in and is already included in, oh no, it's not. Okay, not in the utilizing Spring Security for Jenkins' own user database because they're sort of related to each other.
They are related, yeah.
Okay.
It's just that this has its own, I don't think it has JB Crypt, but
well,
I can't remember what it is.
They are at least distinct enough to justify separate entries in the upgrade guide.
Correct. Just in case you have a problem.
Right.
Why can't I log in with my 73 password? This is why. And then same site we were talking about. This could cause some issues, especially we're talking about if you're using the Intro or Azure AD plugin.
Right.
But otherwise, should be okay. And you can also bump it if you need to.
Well, it has an escape hatch, right? Yeah. And therefore, if you were to find a problem with this, that's why it's in the upgrade guide, is if you were to find a problem with this, use the escape hatch.
Always, 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 always read the upgrade guide.
Yes.
Even if it says, let's go back one version. Even if it just says no notable changes, that's good.
Right.
With this version, there are notable changes.
There are.
To put it mildly, this is probably the biggest release that I can remember in the past 2 years, I think.
So it's certainly got a lot of interesting changes. Now, I think the Spring Security transition would give it a run for its money.
That's true.
But in terms of user visible changes, it's actually much larger impact than Spring Security was because of how much the UI has been improved, right? It's different.
Okay. Anything else we need to go through today?
Nothing else
We
for
went through
me.
it fast. Again, when you're ready to upgrade, number 1, back up. That's number 0, back up. Number 1, back up. Number 2, back up. And then you can start thinking about have your backup in 3 places. I have not done my upgrade to .1 yet because most of my stacks run weeklies. I've got one that I'm still updating a little bit slower on LTS. I'm going to take my time.
Yeah, and I've
Just ensure.
upgraded and I'm very happy. So
Good.
it's working great for me. Yes, 1,000+ jobs, but it's working very well.
Good. What's coming up next? The next bigs will be .2 on August 20th. We'll be back on August 21st at the same time for a live stream talking about what's in that. I think it's going to be small, sort of like that 504 line was.
Right.
There will probably be some UI changes that come along with it. Nothing. I don't see anything else big coming in anytime soon in comparison to the header change.
Right.
There are things coming in, just not to the visible side of things. What else do we need? August 21st. Everybody will still be on holiday.
Yeah.
Well, at least in Europe. Sorry.
And that's a lovely season. Good for them.
It seems like, well, never mind. It's like if you want to go on holiday, then now's the time to go to Australia because it's winter. If you like winter.
Okay.
Which, again, I'm in the heat of Texas right now. I could use some winter. That would be nice.
Got it.
Okay. Any other questions that we need to cover? I think we've got everything solid. We'll be back again in 4 weeks on August 21st. And thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us live today. If you don't mind, give us a thumbs up on YouTube. And I think that's it for now. I feel I have this nagging thing in the back of my head. It's like, you're forgetting something. It's like, I can't find what I'm forgetting. So
I think we covered
we're
it.
good. All right. Well, thanks, everybody, and we'll see you again in 4 weeks.